City of Orlando, Florida, the City Beautiful. Its nickname. Looking at the storm drain here. There's a little manhole. Right here along this road. Brick road. We visited Greenwood Cemetery. Never been in here to this property before. The oldest one in Orlando. Dating back to the 1880s. The very first one. Welcome everyone. TheDailyWoo here. As the recording of this Monday, May 20th, 2024. Let's see what I can find, see what I can learn, and just have a day. Here in downtown Orlando, the City Beautiful, Greenwood, formerly the Orlando Cemetery. And they changed the name years later. Join me as I walk through, shall you? Now I am somewhat familiar with Orlando, some of the notable names, so I would imagine a lot of them are laid to rest here. Probably a lot of the headstones, I'm going to recognize some of the names I'm either familiar with, the locals from back in the day, mostly based on street names here in the city. And a lot of the original street names of any city are usually based on the original people that were in the town and or city when it started. Let's see what I can find. Cherub here, this angel. Now walking in here, I don't really know a whole lot of info about it, so I'm kind of researching as I go. I saw this mausoleum here, so I looked up the name on the top, Wilmot, and discovered a sad story of a grandmother that took her grandson out on the lake, and it ended tragically. Grandson drowned, and she was so distraught over it, it kind of plagued her the rest of her life. This is the family plot where the boy is laid, and the mother and his father are here in the Wilmot mausoleum. And you have the tree in front here with the hanging moss. Really the most noticeable thing when I first started walking up the side of the hill, stands out in comparison to the other headstones, just because of the size of it. You can see where there used to be a staircase here leading up to that section. Stairs are still here, but really nothing at the top of them. Family plot here of the Starbucks. To think of it, I don't know if I've ever met anyone with the last name of Starbuck, but here is the family plot there. Catherine, Lincoln. There's the main headstone. Sperry family plot. Charles, Julia, Mary, Frank, Margia Pratt, Sperry. This was dating back to 1935. Eleanor Gibson, born in 1895. Something very fascinating about graveyards. You know, for a lot of folks back in a different time, this is really the last relic of anyone from current state or in the future to see that they existed. Weren't a lot of photos back then, obviously no videos of people, and there were some news articles you could probably dig up on a lot of info on some of the names. But really, if they didn't have like J.M. Tinnell here, passed away in '08. I wouldn't know who that was unless I just walked by and saw his headstone there. J.M. Tinnell. The headstone has been broken off. Herbert Wesley Busk. Passed on in 1888. Wow. That was 8 years after they built this place. His cross has fallen here. Of course, over time, some of them are so weather worn, you can't even see the names. Well, around this side, you can kind of make it out. 1912. Wow, look at this one, it's cracked open. New headstone, but definitely original brickwork there. With the crack in it. Okay, recognize this. This is Joe Tinker's. That's pretty cool. Tinker Field, of course, named after him here in town. This is the family section. Clay, Mundy, and Tinker. A few baseballs have been placed here. Got the Cubs emblem. Famous as a member of one of baseball's greatest double play combinations, from Tinker to Evers to Chance. A big leaguer from 1902 to 1916 with the Chicago Cubs and the Cincinnati Reds. The Chicago Feds manager, Cincinnati 1913, and Chicago National League 1916. Shortstop on the Cubs team that won the pennants in 1906, 07, 08, and 1910. And I've always heard the name and passed by Tinker Field many, many times. Here he is. In fact, here's the original headstone here. Him and Ruby. That is pretty neat. And then behind there is Delmar S. Nicholson, nickname Radio Nick. Passed away in I'm going to see who Radio Nick is. Hey, very interesting. One of the things he was known for was a big advocate of helping animals, and he went on to really be the front runner of promoting that there should be a zoo in the area. Very interesting, right? Now, come to think of it, I don't know if I've ever seen what looks to be a mosquito on a headstone before, or possibly a wasp ingrained in there. See the little small plane there landing. We're not too far from the Milk District, and there's a small community airport over near there too. This is also slightly different than what you'd see for a covering. Chef Teddy is off duty. The Heavens manager. This is very sweet. Just as the fragrance of a flower, she still lingers when it's gone. The beauty that was hers alone in thoughts is with us still, in the hearts that love her. She lives on and always will. You'll always be remembered. I sojourned well, I journeyed well, and well I lie at rest. Win at the fair, win a teddy bear. Wow, this is also very interesting. I did not realize there was enough of a hill and a berm here that you could see downtown Orlando from the top of this. Just learned something new. This area is very flat, but up here you could almost get a little higher up perspective downtown. First job I ever had was at Publix. Worked a lot of grocery retail. Worked at Walmart grocery in the Supercenter in St. Cloud, Florida. I worked at Winn-Dixie. So I know the name T.G. Lee Dairy Products very well. Anyone that lives in the Central Florida or Florida area has probably either seen or consumed one of this gentleman's products. T.G. Lee, Thomas, never realized his first name was Thomas. Thomas G. Lee. And his wife Elizabeth, right here in the underneath this little palm tree. Very beautiful, with the airplane flying over, landing at the little airport next to the milk district. Man known for his milk. And I didn't realize this till I looked up some info on him. He was honored at the Contemporary Resort for contributing to the Florida, try to draw a blank on the word, for contributing to the Florida enterprise, business enterprise, if you will. I don't know why I have trouble thinking of what to say with that, but yeah. Back in '75, Contemporary would have only been 4 years old. They had a huge ceremony. The article I was reading said there was 800 or 900 people in attendance. He was a very well-loved man. T.G. Lee. Know that name very well from working grocery retail. All right, the more I wander around, the more I think of different notable names. Cannot forget about Bob Carr, the mayor of Orlando up until 1967. In fact, he was the mayor from 56 until 67. Bob Carr Performing Arts Center, I believe he has that named after him. So he was the mayor when they announced that they were going to be building Walt Disney World. In fact, he would have been the mayor. I guess that would have been his tenure when Walt was here announcing the Florida project over on Lake Eola with the governor as well. Now, he passed away before '71 when Walt Disney World opened. The mayor that took over after him would have been the one. Let me see where he is. See if he's here too. Very interesting. Bob Carr, Robert S. Carr. Did a lot for the city. Beloved wife and mother next. Jean S. Carr. Very fascinating. And T.G. Lee is right over there, so it's in the same general area. Another notable name over here, Gore. Another prominent mayor. If you're from this area, you certainly will recognize this name. Milan? I never know how to pronounce his first name. M-A-H-L-O-N. Passed away in 1916. Born in 1887. No, 1837. Stand correct. 1837. He was definitely much older than being born in 87. 1837 till June 27th of 1916. Came here, started off in the newspaper business from what I was reading, and then became the mayor. He's only the mayor a couple years though. He also started a church here in town. The first Unitarian. Him and his wife. Josephine and Amelia. It's interesting that neither Amelia or Josephine have any dates on theirs, but he does. Mr. Gore. There he is, Mr. Carl Thomas Langford. And Marietta Perkins Langford, his wife. Beautiful flowers here. He passed on in 2011. 6 years prior to him, she passed away. He was mayor from 67 to 1980. Let this sink in. 1967 to 1980. So WDW was being built then. Of course, Magic Kingdom Walt Disney World opened in 71. So for 9 years after it opened, he got to see this area grow considerably, and nothing that he probably could have imagined. Let's see, passed on in 80 for how much it has grown. But he saw the formidable years of the explosion of Central Florida. This man right here, Carl T. Langford, who was the mayor of Orlando. And when I was over here looking for this, I walked from way over there. I passed another notable name that I had forgotten about, and I saw their little plot over there, family plot. So I'm gonna walk over there and show that too. Just everywhere you walk through here, if you're familiar with Central Florida, you'll notice a lot of names. This entire area belongs to the Bumbies. Well, the Bumbies and the others. Beloved local journalist and historian, Dean Yothers. There's also Ella West Bumby. And of course the most, probably famous, I don't even know if famous is the word, but the most people would know is Joseph Bumby, Joe Bumby. Born in 1911. Okay, I'm incorrect. Born in 1843 till February 11th of 1911. And Mary Flowers Elderkin, who was his wife, she was born in 1846 to 1917. I mean, it's just kind of hard to wrap your head around that Joe Bumby has been gone for 113 years. But his name lives on around these parts. Among doing a lot of things for the community, created and owned and ran one of the first and largest hardware stores in the area. Him and his wife had 9 kids, 9 children, which I was reading this online, came to be known as the Bumby Boys. Amazing how accessible information is now. You can go into something not planning on it, just kind of going with the flow, and then you find something, you just look it up and you're like, that's pretty neat, and you kind of fact check it a little bit, read other articles, like the Bumby Boys. Never knew about the Bumby Boys. Knew about Mr. Bumby, not about the Bumby boys. And then occasionally you'll get a placard. I was not expecting to see a placard here. Let's see what this says. Members of the Eppes and Shine families, descendants of President Thomas Jefferson. What the heck? The author of the Declaration of Independence and Statute of Virginia for Religious Freedoms. Members of the families. Continued on the other side. The Shines were among Orlando's earliest civil-minded families. Civic-minded families. In 1879, Thomas built a home on Orange Avenue with the first indoor bathroom in Orlando. He named the cross street Jefferson Street in honor of his wife's family. Very interesting. There is a lineage of President Thomas Jefferson. Hey, look at this. Got a little Thomas Jefferson there, etched in there. Of such is the kingdom of heaven. That's what that says. T.J. Shine, Thomas Jefferson Shine. Born in 1842, laid to rest on Easter Day. The sun is gone down while it was yet day, but unto the upright there is, can't tell what that says, there is something to the light of darkness. You ever heard of Leu Gardens? Harry, Lou, and Mary. Harry and Mary. I never realized his wife's name was Mary. Harry P. Leu. I've been to those gardens quite a few times for different occasions, events. Very enjoyable little walk-through area. I did not realize he was here. Okay, evidently there are 3 of these sections here. This being the 3rd. This little section in the middle. So the interesting thing about this is everyone in here is under the age of 5. You can see the dates here. Which is a little different because they're not with their family, they're with others from their age bracket. So reading a little bit, kind of looked it up, and they were saying that the parents found, or those in relation to them, maybe not necessarily the parents, but family of them, found comfort in that fact that they were amongst other babies. really don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like this before. So I was looking on a map and it said that this area was for the Sunnyland Hospital. But you'll notice there's really not a whole lot, there's only a few, and then when you get over to the newer section over there, there definitely is a lot more. And I'm noticing on these, the dates on these only go to about 1930, give or take. Here's one from 29. So I believe I have found the right section for the Sunnyland section, but there is no designation, there's no placard for this. Just a few scattered through here. Sunnyland Hospital, I remember many years ago, was sitting abandoned. 1929. Alice Edna Arnold, 1929. Albert M. Diekler, loved dearly and never forgotten. Delia Courier, 1931. Edna Gleason, 31. Maud L. Herring, 1931. George Frost, 32. Laura Mosley, 32. This one is unlegible. Irene Vasara and M. Olsavicki. Mausoleum over here. It says Weeks, W-E-E-K-S. I'll look this one up. Fred S. Weeks, born in 1839. Gotta love the interwebs. You can look anything up, and I can't guarantee this is true, but as the tale goes of Fred Weeks, what is now this property, way back in the day, he was traveling through this area, and there were some fires going on. He wanted to buy some land. This is just kind of paraphrasing what I was reading. Purchased the land, but he couldn't see the back section of the land because of the fires. He returned later on down the road to see his property and realized it was all just nasty swampland. He had been duped. So at the portion of his property, as a joke, he put this quote on a piece of stone out in front. And it said, "A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell among thieves," basically in honor or homage or to draw attention to the fact that he had been cheated for buying some swampland. And then many years later, when he passed away, here in this mausoleum, he had the same quotation put on the door. However, does not have his end date on it. And as the story goes, as I was reading, his wife did not want to have her name on there either, but I believe she's probably in there. She didn't really like the amusement of the joke. I don't really see it that being that much of a joke, though. It makes sense to me. It's got some moss on it, a little weather worn. 1848 to 1901. It's really interesting if you just take the time to peruse around a place. Doesn't necessarily have to be a cemetery, but this one's got a squirrel on it. This is an older section also, you can tell by the headstones. Looks like there's another placard over there. Oh, actually no, I've looped back to where I just was. That's the Thomas Jefferson plot, family plot. Had a pretty good day today without really having a game plan ahead of time. Again, I'll probably return here in the future. I'm sure there's a lot more that I could see, cover, and learn from in this place. But this is my first time coming in here. I'm gonna start heading out now. Thanks for watching. That's gonna do it for today. See you in the next video of the vlog. It's over.